So normally me and the D man, we sit here and just get to talking and running it about the barbershop. But today we got a special guest, um, the guy that brought me into the game, Mr. Lewis Clemons from Appointments Preferred Barbershop. So Lou, thank you.
Yeah, all right, all
Thank
right.
you for
Thank
coming
y'all
through.
for having me. Thank you. All right, all right,
Yes,
all right.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
So, we're not gonna get into a whole lot, but you being an OG in the game, we do want to talk to you a little bit and just kind of get your perspective on things and just try to see where we can have a conversation. None of this is scripted. You actually came through to check on me and bring me some new toys to play with,
Yeah.
and also to get a cut. So while we got you here, man, we want to try to get your knowledge and your perspective on things. And I mean, we can start off by maybe you could tell us some of the things that you maybe how you got in the game. You've been in the game how long? About 35 plus years?
36 years.
36
It's my
years.
36th year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
36 years.
Congratulations.
And the game has definitely changed from how it was back in the day when you had to go out and hand out flyers
Ooh.
to where we at doing social media right now.
Right.
So back in the day, it wasn't no social media. You had to go out on foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up here in Atlanta doing stuff on the east side, and the way I built my clientele up was basically going out on foot,
Mm-hmm.
walking around. I remember one time when I first got into the game, I would go to South DeKalb Mall.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get 1,000 flyers made up,
Mm.
and I would walk around the mall and put flyers on every single car in the parking lot.
Come on.
Walking all the way around. If you've been to South DeKalb Mall, it's a pretty big mall.
Yeah.
So you imagine going to a mall on a Saturday and you're walking around the mall and you're putting flyers on everybody's car. You're trying to hand out flyers to everybody. You had a lot of people that didn't want you up in their face, and they tell you, get out my face, get out my face,
That's real hustle.
Yeah, real hustle, and it wasn't until you do it a few times and you run across people say, hey man, you gave me a flyer before, man. It seemed like you're really hungry. Hey, I'm gonna come by and check you out. And it's a big difference. During that time you lost a lot of weight because you're doing a whole bunch of walking. And that's just how it is. Social media now. Even now I find myself having to adjust because if you're gonna be in this business this long, you have to have the ability to adjust. You can't have the mindset of thinking that you know it all because you don't. And I'll tell any older barber that's been in the game, you got to be able to listen. We all can learn something from each other, and that's the only way that we all evolve is that we got to be able to have these conversations and be open to listening to what people got to say, because a lot of times you'll find people have really good ideas. Sometimes it can help me out. Sometimes I can help them out, but it's things that people need to be able to sit back and have these conversations and don't be closed-minded. And that's the problem. So many people now out here they're closed-minded, and it's crazy because I find that not only is the older guys who set their ways, but you got some of the young guys out here. They're not trying to listen. They think they know it all, but they don't know basically anything about creating a business, being able to maintain a business. I tell them all the time, it takes a lot for me to have been in the business for going into my 36th year to be able to adjust and being able to know what to do to be able to have 3 generations of family coming in.
How was I as an apprentice to
I would say, and I've trained 4 apprentices in my 36 years. You and 3 others have went on to open up shops and have been successful. I would say you probably was the most coachable because you had the hunger, and that was one of the main reasons why I agreed to do it in the first place, because the way you came in professional, you came in hungry, and you didn't think you never thought that you knew it all, So it's like you took in a lot of the stuff that I was able to teach you, and you went on to open up your own shop. And then at the end of the day, that's what more people need to do. If they're going to be in this business, such as yourself now, you've been in 20 years, think about it. You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to still evolve. And that's just the nature of this business right now.
Now, that's one thing that and this mic is not just for me, but
listen to the OG though.
Yeah.
one thing that I appreciate about Dylan, and I wouldn't necessarily use the word impressed. Like I didn't like I've known him forever and didn't know that he had the capability. But one thing that I really I hold in high regard is how he came in the shop looking for an opportunity for me.
But the thing about that though is, and that's impressive, because now in this day and time, there's so many people that you can hide a personality through an email. You can hide a personality through a text.
Yeah.
But it's not until they actually come in that you even make a decision if they can really mesh. Because bottom line is that you have a system over here.
Yeah.
And anybody that comes in here has to be able to have to fit into the system.
Yeah.
And sometimes these people try to hide behind texts and emails, and they might not even want to come in. They just think that, oh yeah, I can come in, and you might have people that come in here that have a license.
Yeah.
We all want somebody with license,
right.
But do they fit into the system?
Right. Let me ask, like, when you got started, how was the experience for you when you first got started in the game?
My experience was rough. I mean,
it
was rough. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the shop, 17, 18 years old in a shop with a bunch of old heads that was in their 40s and 50s. And I ain't gonna lie, I came to the shop a little cocky.
Okay.
But I didn't. I ain't gonna lie. But it was a lot of stuff I thought I knew.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I realized real fast I ain't know as much as I need to. And them guys in there made sure that they let you know that you didn't know anything. They critiqued every haircut. They made sure that during that time when I was coming up, people dressed up coming to the barbershop.
Yeah, I was hoping you talked about that.
Now people dressed up. I mean, when I first got in the game, probably the first 12 years I was in the game, I dressed up. Suit, tie, every day. Shoes had to be shined. And if you came in there dusty, they'll tell you, hey, go get them shoes shined and get up out of here. Everybody had to be on point.
And I don't think that there's a barber this generation that you can say that to.
No.
And they would be really responsive. I mean, do you have any hard bottoms?
I don't even know.
But the thing about that though is that it teaches you to be able to have some respect about what you're doing. That was the whole thing. Hey, you look good. You're gonna get paid good. You can ask for your price, because when you're coming in, you're looking professional.
Yeah.
I even had, matter of fact, the owner of the shop that when I came up, this guy was cutting with a full suit on, didn't take his jacket off, had his hat on.
That's a lot, bro.
Hat on, and during that time we had the old Belmont chairs that had the cigarette holders on the side. So cats was sitting there with their legs crossed, and they smoking cigarettes, and they dumping the ashes in while they getting their hair cut. And this dude right here,
that was top notch at that time.
Oh, it was top notch all day. Yeah, and the old Belmont chairs, and even if you buy Belmont, you price the Belmont 9, you're still gonna spend $3,000 to $5,000 for a Belmont chair. And he had all Belmont chairs in there.
Wow.
But this dude would cut in the shop, and he would put a cigarette in his mouth, do a whole haircut.
Wow.
And the ash would we all looking like we know this ash is gonna break. And he talking all the time, yeah, I know. And when the ash would not even break, and he gets to the end of the haircut, and he'd dump the cigarette off in one whop.
He got steady hands.
Steady hands in there. And these guys out here during that time was so mean with the razor. They asked for a mustache trim, I automatically put the razor on there, because and nobody was ever charged for that. And even now I don't even charge them. But it's a locking mechanism to let the client know that you're willing to go a little bit extra, to let them know that, hey, I'm trying to lock you in as a customer, and I'm gonna give you these little extras, and you'll be amazed of how far that'll take you just doing small stuff like that. That these young guys out here, they'll put the little trimmers on there and call it the day.
It's a lost art. The razor.
The razor is a lost art,
100%.
but it's a lost art. People now they want to try. I see them on Instagram. They dry shaving people. They're not putting the necessary creams and stuff to make sure that the clients are not bumping up. Gotten away from that. Everybody now wants to do stuff fast. You know, they want to see how many haircuts they can do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to lock you in for long-term clients if you're just trying to, you know, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Everybody come through the shop. You know, so
Is it anything that you're seeing now that the young guys are doing that you kind of like and respect or kind of
I
appreciate that you
think,
could take something
yeah,
from?
I think that that a lot of them now they are kind of paying attention to social media, and
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to learn through the social media.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that most of these young guys out here really need to try to find them, you know, one old guy that can mentor them on how the old ways were, so they can integrate that in with the new ways that'll help balance everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these old ways, they can still get to the 30-year mark, but it might take them a little bit longer, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because the learning curve is going to be a lot steeper now than what it was then.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was coming up, if you're doing something messed up, they letting you know right there on the spot. And as soon as you mess up, it was you learn from right there. They slap your hands and tell you, hey,
Well,
you messed up, and
listen,
you learn.
I know that way of teaching, and
Yeah.
that don't that I haven't been very successful with, with people that I've hired or even did apprentice with, kind of being so direct. I had to learn to kind of like loosen up. But
I think
I
that's
get
generation difference though. There, I think that's. I would rather be told straight, you doing that wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the best way to learn. You know, because if you allowing somebody to continue to do something the wrong way, then they'll never learn. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's maybe us being more soft. You know, like you don't want.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
the
want to
word
get it.
that would be the word.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is this: that even with me, I'm prior military, and I just feel that if somebody's trying to come in and they're trying to learn this business, I'm going to teach them the way I was taught. Because at the end of the day, if you can get through whatever I got to give, then I know at the end of the day you're going to be successful. Every apprentice I've had, I've came at everybody a little bit different, because certain techniques just don't work for certain people. But I think at the end of the day, I still was firm enough with everybody so that everybody can learn. So, but the problem with a lot of some of these young guys is that you can't even be a little bit direct, and they'll fold up. So my question is how do they expect to be in this business if they're not ready to hear what you got to say? Because when these customers come in here and you're not doing stuff right, you know, you don't want to be that person where the haircut is messed up and a client shoots you. I mean, I was in the shop. I give you a story right now. I was in the shop. I give you a story right now. Back in this had to be in 92. Now I was working in a shop in 92 where the owner had the very first very first chair in the shop, because that was always the thing. You know, the owner always has the first chair.
Now I have the first chair, but I never knew that was a
That
thing.
that's the thing.
I didn't know
So
that.
so back during that time, you know, everybody had the corded phones. Everybody holding the phone, cutting this, that, and the other. So we had a walk-in customer that came in, sat down in the chair, and everybody in the shop knows that when that guy comes in, he want a real low, even haircut, line him up, run him out of there. So the owner told him, "Sit him down, I got you." So he on the phone, he get into an argument with his wife or whatever, and he done took the trimmers and start balling the sides out. I mean, just shade his ball side down, and the customer was just sitting there, and he turned around to the mirror, and he looked at him. He said, "Hey, looks like a very nice haircut, but you know I ain't paying you. You know I wear my hair even all over." So he was like, yeah, right. So he finished the haircut up, and during that time, haircuts was $10.
Mm.
So he got out of the chair. He said, "Hey, it's $10." And he told him, said, "Hey, I ain't paying you." And he said, "Oh, you're gonna pay me?" He said, "I ain't paying you." He goes to walk towards the door. As soon as he walks towards the door, dude pulls out a 38, shoots him in the back.
Mm.
Keep in mind, I'm in the back of the shop. I'm like, oh crap! Shot this dude. Dude sitting in the front leaking out of there. I'm sitting over there, and I think at that point, that's when I really realized that I was having PTSD from being in the war, because I'm in there freaking out, like, oh my God, he just shot this dude. So he shot the dude. Dude crawled outside, blood all at the door. Owner comes out after him. He over on this side. He's sitting on the curb on this side. We don't call 911, and dude end up getting 10 years for they
over a damn
yeah
haircut.
over a haircut.